What's good, gamers? Akalon here, and it would appear that Blizzard has been cooking on the PTR with 10.1.5. In this video, I'm gonna go through all of the quality of life changes, the new additions to the game, and it appears that Blizzard is sort of merging the old and the new world together with a number of these additions, so stay tuned for all of it. Allied races and Chromie time appears to have received a number of quality of life changes. First up, allied races no longer have to go through the scenarios in order to unlock them. You can just play them as soon as you have a character at level 40, so that is a nice change. You'll start at level 10, immediately get the pre-quests for BFA. You can then speak to Chromie. Chromie now has a lot more options, voice options and the like. She also shows you the cinematic for each of the expansions that you may wish to play. She now goes up to level 61 rather than level 60. Not quite sure why that change is important, because it still appears like you're locked out as soon as you reach level 61, so you're still gonna have a hard time actually finishing any of these expansions. But you'll see throughout this video, there may actually be a reason why Blizzard is making all of these changes now. The allied race one, though, is pretty good. A huge new change is the gear update feature coming in 10.1.5. Do you have an alt that's sort of been sitting there? You want to play it, but you also don't, because you can't remember exactly where you are, you don't know exactly which quest you're on, and when you do log in, you just feel lost. Everything feels so old and so outdated. Well, fear not. The new gear update system literally lets you click a button. Well, it's like 3 buttons. This allows you to immediately equip your character with brand new level appropriate gear. It also teleports you to your main city. It gives you all 22 slot bags, and all of your old gear and items are now mailed back to you, so your character starts completely fresh. Really nice change, especially for those of us that have these older characters just chilling out. Keep in mind though that if you have an allied race and you're trying to character boost it or gear boost it, you will instantly lose access to the cosmetic quest chain for that character, so maybe you don't want to do that on your allied race. But for everything else, I think this is a really good change. And it also goes hand in hand with a new sell all junk button that Blizzard have added to the game. Yes, that's now part of the base UI. I've gone through all of the options. It does not appear that there is an automatic feature yet, so people who like the Alv UI feature where you simply click on the vendor and it automatically gets rid of everything, you're still gonna need Alv UI for that. But for everything else, you have that in the base UI. Very welcome change, in my opinion. Some tiny changes to Exile's reach, but this also somehow plays into riding training, so we're gonna go through both of those at the same time. The riding training one is obviously the biggest of them all. There appears to be some hand-holding changes in Exile's reach on the PTR. I tried this on live on 2 different characters and on the PTR on 3 different characters. On live, these things did not happen for me even after resetting all tutorials and help tools and all the rest of it. On the PTR, the game now tells you when you've received a new piece of gear and how to equip it. It also tells you when you've leveled up, you have new spells waiting and how to put those on your bar. If that isn't new, let me know in the comment section down below, but it appears to be new since I couldn't do that on live, and I think that's a nice quality of life change. Something that isn't tied to Chromie time but is still affecting Chromie time is the new riding update. You now get riding for free. You no longer have to learn how to ride your mounts. When you go and you hit level 10, you will get your first riding training. At level 40, you will learn how to fast fly. There's also 2 free new mounts added to the game. At level 10, Horde and Alliance players can go back to their capital cities and they will instantly get a free mount. At level 40, new players will be able to go to Dazar'alor or Borealis, respectively, to get their faction-specific flying mount, also completely for free. Not a massive change, but a nice change altogether. So really cool. I'm pretty happy about that. Then, of course, we get into the more max level additions to the game now. We have a new community event that has been data mined. It's called the Secrets of Azeroth, and it says that players will be going throughout the world collecting clues and doing quests, and in so doing they will unlock secrets of Azeroth. Long forgotten secrets, or perhaps just lore related secrets, we don't know. It's not available on the PTR yet, so all we have is the data mining for it, but you do get some pets, some mounts, some collectibles from doing these. Speaking of transmogs, we have a new item that's been data mined. It's called quantum items, and these items allow you to discover transmogs from the old world. God knows why that is there, what it means, but obviously I have some theories. We'll get into those at the end of the video, but it appears to be, you know, a pretty interesting change. Speaking of old items, now when you go through old dungeons, the quests for those dungeons will be at the start of that dungeon. So if you're running old dungeons and you haven't done the quest or the quest changed that lead to those dungeons, you can immediately pick them up inside the dungeon. The final thing that's been data mined, again not yet testable, is Outland Dragonriding. Yes, it does appear as if Blizzard is going to add Dragonriding to every single one of the old world zones. I think Dragonriding has truly just changed the way we view flying in World of Warcraft. Everyone I speak to absolutely hates old flying and just wants to new fly wherever the hell they go. I can agree with you, old flying is so slow, it's just no longer worth it. So a pretty nice change, I think, overall. All of this seems to point to two possible futures. The first is that Blizzard truly is just adding some quality of life changes. If you've been hunting the transmog forever, quantum items can now allow you to get the transmog. It all depends on how it's implemented, or just be another source of getting old items from the game, maybe another resource to sort of spruce up and make certain events and activities within the game a little bit more attractive to players. The other one is one that we've been talking about for a really long time, and that is the World Revamp that everyone seems to think is now coming. The reason you need things like the quantum items as well as chromie time is in the nature of how this revamp will work. The problem with World of Warcraft is that it's large. These are no longer the days of Cataclysm, where you can just update a few zones and call it a day. You now have many expansions worth of stories and zones that will need to be updated for the new player experience, and let's be real, the new player experience in World of Warcraft hasn't been great, so it is due for an update. The problem with that is the only way Blizzard can actually do it is through bit by bit, piece by piece. This creates a very weird dynamic within World of Warcraft. You're gonna have certain zones that is already updated, looking pretty with a new storyline, and then an old zone right next to it that still has the old story. So players are gonna feel very disjointed and the story isn't gonna make sense at all. Well, you have chromie time for that. It serves as the in-between. You can update the zones without releasing the new story for that zone. The zone just looks beautiful, there's some stuff to do there, maybe some world quests and stuff, but the story is kept under wraps until the whole world has been updated and the story for the new player experience can now be unveiled all at once for players to actually play through. The quantum item serves as a really nice addition to preserve items that might get lost if the new revamp removes certain dungeons from the game, or maybe change the loot tables for those dungeons. These quantum items allow you to preserve those items for players that still want them, especially if Blizzard is looking at this massive world revamp. Fact of the matter is, as I've been doing the Exile's Reach scenario 4 times today and twice yesterday, I can tell you guys honestly, it kind of makes one sad because Exile's Reach is actually such a great experience. The storytelling, the way in which they cement your faction and what your faction is for a new player, the way in which they build the suspense for what you're doing there is absolutely phenomenal. The problem is it falls apart as soon as you're done there, because for new players, they'll go straight into BFA. They'll have no backstory on what the hell they're doing there. Who are all these people that they have never met before, and why are these people, you know, angry at them, or why are these people hunting them? Exile's Reach really deserves a story that can slot into it and that can lead players through the Promised Land, or through the old world to the Promised Land. Personally, I'm really excited for this. I really hope that this is a thing that's gonna happen. Overall, though, I think the 10.1.5 changes, even if it doesn't point to a world revamp, is still very exciting and pretty big. Let me know in the comment section what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Does this matter to you? Is this something that you're excited for, or do you not care? I'd love to read your thoughts in the comment section down below. Ladies and gentlemen, to all of the patrons, the YouTube members, and the Twitch subs, thank you so much for your contributions. It means the absolute world to me. If you want to become a Twitch sub or a patron or a YouTube channel member, the links are in the description down below. For patrons, you get free hentai as well as podcasts every single week for $1. So click the link in the description down below. As always, ladies and gentlemen, be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace out, fam.